Welcome to the Brendan Brown's Collections of Facts and Theories podcast show. I'm your host, Brendan Brown, and today we're just going to be talking about, something that's really been going on a lot and something that you should know that's going to happen. You saw the thumbnail and everything. We know this podcast. Let's just get to it. We're going to talk about how you can find and follow your purpose or your passion, however you think of saying that. So, with all this things going on, which I'll get to that later, let's just get to it. So, the first way on how you can find and follow your purpose is pray to God and ask Him for some guidance. I'm not saying that you should do it if you don't associate yourself with that faith, but if you associate yourself with that faith, then you can do it, because I associate myself with that faith, Christianity. I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, so I will go and pray to God about it. And if you watch this podcast long enough, you should know that I always say that. If you don't associate yourself, you don't have to, because it's your choice. But for me, as a Christian, I want to do it. And I have to do it, because as a Christian, have to. The next one, you should try everything. Now, I'm not saying just be stupid and just try everything and be like, just to do it. Do it and actually learn from it. Let's just say, I'm going to go see how this is. Let me write it down. So my experience was such and such. And you don't have to do exactly this, but you can just learn from it. It doesn't have to be writing. It can just be you having this. Just thinking with this. Thinking like that to actually figure out what your purpose is or your passion is. So the next one is do what you love doing and find a way to make revenue out of it. Meaning, find out what your hobby is and try to make revenue out of it. And if you start doing it and start learning it, do that. The next one is start networking with positive people. When you network with positive people, you'll find out that you'll do even the better or even the more better when you're just networking with people that are actually positive. They don't have to be in your niche, but they can be positive. The next one is consume positive content, but as you consume positive content, don't do it on a daily basis by consuming most of your content. Try to put in more to work. Like, for example, how I am doing podcasting and things. I may watch YouTube videos about podcasts. I may watch YouTube videos about self-improvement and all these things, but I have to put in the work to give you the self-improvement, for you to join this community of self-improvers. And if you want to join, click the link tree down below. And also like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification button if you are liking this video. The notification button is that bell, so you can be notified every time a new video is being uploaded, episode. And also on audio podcasts, subscribe on all podcast platforms. Same for YouTube audience. You can subscribe on all podcast platforms. But you have to put in more of the work. And that's another thing that goes in that I just wanted to add and I didn't script out. But you have to put in the work. Willingly put in the work to finding your passion or your purpose. And I just want to tell you that everything's not going to go overnight. There's no such thing as overnight success. There's no such thing as you have to be having a mindset. It takes time to do things. It takes time to do everything. Just like it took time for me to do this podcast. The next one is, and the last one is, and after I finish this, I'm going to go say some more things, is that you need to educate yourself and believe in yourself. When you educate yourself and believe in yourself, you'll realize that you've done even better than before. Educating yourself and believing in yourself will really help you, or really benefit you into doing better in life and even doing more in life. Sometimes you just have to do that to find your purpose and to find your passion. And with that just comes great knowledge. Just like how you need to get great knowledge into looking at these nice pair of glasses. These are Jade Black glasses made out of Italian Esntls stainless steel, polarized lenses, UV and sunlight protection. The quality in these glasses were made, and most of the qualities in these glasses usually will cost some glasses $100, but these are only $40. But if you use my 10% coupon code Booster10, you will get 10% off when you purchase these glasses. And also, have you seen these Esntls clothing brand? There's a clothing brand. Use my 10% coupon code Brendan Brown, all caps, and look at this. See? It's a mask. Yeah. Yeah. That's a mask. So, when you get Esntls, you will love their clothes. It's made out of high quality clothing. They have bamboo t-shirts. They don't just have normal cotton, bamboo t-shirts. And with this is made out of nice quality. Most of these things cost almost $500, $600, but he made these things to only be budgeted. We just may sold out every time we get these things. Every time these products come in, we just sell out so quickly because they're good. And if you want to get this hoodie, go hit the link tree. You should see Esntls. Use my 10% coupon code Brendan Brown, all caps, and you will get 10% off when you purchase this hoodie or any other clothing brand from Esntls. Hopefully you enjoyed this wonderful episode, and let's move on to our next half of this episode. So I just wanted to tell you guys that we are officially in the second half of this episode. So what I just wanted to talk about on this episode is that you have to have the mindset. That's another thing you need to have. Have the mindset to do what must be done if you want to follow your purpose and find your passion and find your purpose. Another thing is you can't let people judge you. Because if you let people judge you, it will really affect you. And I'm saying this if you're trying to find your purpose or if you already found it. Don't try to judge yourself. Don't let people judge you. Let people tell you what to do. Another thing is that you have to control yourself. You have to know that things don't come overnight. There's no such thing as overnight success. There's no such thing as you get this done tomorrow, today, later, and there, and that, and this. It takes time and it takes dedication to do what must be done. You have to remember that. You also have to remember that when it comes to everything, you have to discipline yourself and you have to control yourself to know whether you're doing right or wrong. You have to know how to make the right decisions. And it doesn't have to be your mental decisions, your financial decisions when you invest in your passion or your purpose. You can't just spend up your money all crazy. This equipment and everything, it costs money, but it wasn't expensive. It was budgeted because I went to Amazon. And these things may look like high quality stuff, but they're only from Amazon. And I'm not trying to sponsor them, but I'm just saying, you got to be budgeted. And then the final one I want to say before we go to our conclusion is that find out what inspires you. When you find out what inspires you, that'll help you figure out how to find your passion or your purpose. What do you truly love doing? What do you truly love watching? We all have a bunch of interests. I like video games. I like everything. And I'm going to explain my story in the conclusion. I'm going to explain my story and then maybe we'll get to the conclusion. And I'm explaining everything. But you may have different interests in everything and what you do. But what's the number one thing you truly like? And name them in 3 words or 1 or 2. And that's your niche. And that's what you like. You'll figure out. But let's move on to my story and then we'll get to Alrighty guys, so we're back there. I don't know what I just said there. We're back here. I'm not going to edit that part. So we're going to talk about my story. So to give you a little inspiration, motivation, maybe an example of how to find your purpose, I'm going to talk about my story. So it's going to be a long story. So if you don't hear this part, you can always skip it and go to conclusion on YouTube or podcast. But if you're willingly wanting to hear this, let's hear it. So it all started with just me talking to a friend named Jeremiah Patterson, who's host of a podcast named The Jeremiah Patterson Show. And I really got inspired by him. His podcast really inspired me to make my own podcast. I was supposed to make it in November 2019, but it got delayed because I was so nervous, so I just waited till March 2020 when the pandemic started to do it. And he told me what a podcast was. I always asked, what is a podcast? He said, oh, well, a podcast is just like a YouTube channel, but it's just audio. And I was like, what? And he said, sometimes podcasts are on YouTube, but they do all the little tech suave thing. I'm not going to explain that, but, they make it on YouTube. And he asked, well, do you want to start a podcast? I think that's what he asked or something like that. Or I think he was just saying it was great to start a podcast, something like that. And I was just saying, I think I'm going to start a podcast soon. Some other people were thinking of doing that. But I'm thinking of doing that too. And I was thinking of doing it. But not to make the story get too long, I'm going to still talk. I started in March 2020. Did that. I had a bunch of interests. I did all bunch of things. I was doing a lot of stuff. I was doing gaming. I was doing sports, Black Lives Matter. Anything you name, I probably already did it before. I had them all separated, but I was watching Think Media. And I've been watching Think Media since 2019, before the pandemic. And they were talking about if you have all things, you'll never find anything. And I was saying 2020 was a year where you got great success. And I did get great success from podcasting in 2020. And that was the only time I really got my highest peak because people were inside. And I started at the right time, but I just didn't have all my stuff in place yet. So what I did is, after that, Mamas went down. It was August 2020. I talked to Alan Levi Simmons, host of the Purpose Pod. And actually, I think I was just interviewed by him. Well, as this recording, I'm going to be interviewed by him on Tuesday. But as the publishment of this episode, you probably have already seen the interview. And I enjoy his character. He was motivational speaker. I was saying, out of all my content I do, the number 2 content that comes out the most for most views on my podcast is usually, or listens, is usually gaming or self-improvement. So I decided which one I want to do. Self-improvement. So I looked again, December 2020, I saw the No Drop Podcast marketing picture. January it was released, 2021. Look at his podcast, inspired me to make mine, and I changed it all up. Now, ever since January 2021, I've been doing self-improvement content, or should I say I had the idea, but I didn't really start till March because I wanted to keep doing random topics because I love doing it, so I just did that till the first anniversary. When the first anniversary came, I said, nope, after that, zoom up the self-improvement. And, after that, I rebranded the podcast and everything, made a new logo. It was purple, I believe. And after that, it was the summer of 2021. I got inspired by the Lord. The same way how he was nudging me to start that podcast in November 2019, and I didn't. Same thing did with this YouTube podcast. I was supposed to start this in the summer 2021 because the No Job Podcast inspired me to make video podcasts, and I noticed it was starting to be a trend, but especially with snippets. But I just realized that I'll wait till 2022 or maybe late 2021. But I said no, I want to start fresh because something new. And I said, oh, there's a lot of mixing up. But eventually, till like late August, early September, I realized that I was going to do what I'm doing now. Rebrand the podcast once again for a second time. Make a new logo, make everything. Make a new website, because this will be my 3rd website I have. So the community website and the link tree, that actually is GoDaddy, because my first one was Wix, 2020. 2021 was, I believe, WordPress, and now this year, 2022, is GoDaddy. And I'll stick with GoDaddy forever, I guess, until I rebrand in the next few years, because I'm never going to rebrand again. It's too much to do. And eventually I realized that, I've been doing it. And then ever since November, well, I should say around October to like November, I was sort of unmotivated, but eventually it came back to me November 18th for my birthday. And ever since then, I got inspired. I said, let me start now. I'm not going to start in January or December. I'm starting now. And ever since now, as this recording is December, I have been continuing recording these episodes so that I may upload them in January, February, and March so that I can already premiere the first season of the YouTube podcast, but also season 8 for my audio. Because technically it's season 8 for you guys too on the YouTube podcast, but I just premiered it, out of nowhere. I should have been premiered this, but now I waited till now to premiere. So that's why I said 2022 is going to be a big year, and I realized that your purpose won't come overnight. Your passions, your goals won't come overnight. And everything that is being done right now for 2022, and if you're looking at this, it's probably 2022, what I wanted 2022 to be was what I wanted 2020 and 2021 to be. But what 2022 is going to be is what's going to be 2021 and 2020 combined. That's what 2022 is going to be. Sounds a little confusing, but that's what I was saying. And so yeah, that's basically my story. I failed many times. I succeeded many times. I'm not saying that I made a big failure, but I feel in myself that the big failure I made was that I didn't start a video podcast and I didn't start doing snippets and trending things till now. Because now I'm really realizing that we're living in a society that's microwave now with TikTok and all these other things doing these snippets. That's the new thing. So, like I said, I just waited till now to actually start doing these things. So I feel that 2022 is going to be a successful year and further on because I've actually found what I did. My foundation started in 2021, but I actually not completed it, but actually started my real new journey in this podcasting career in 2022. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Let's move on to conclusion. Self-Improvement 101. Alrighty guys, so we're in the conclusion. Hopefully you enjoyed this wonderful podcast episode. I really honestly guys was going to tell you that with all this editing I did, I honestly thought that this episode was going to be very short because I didn't really have that much to say on this episode because I had like 6 scripts to do right here, like 6 segments, but I just never had, 6 things to say on this podcast, but I just never thought it would be so short. So what I did is I said to make it longer, I wanted to put in that ad, for Jade Black Essentials. If you still want to get that link down below. And I realized I wanted to talk about my story, and I should prolong the episode. So there we go. I prolonged the episode. Hopefully it wasn't too long. We're in the conclusion. Overall, I hope you just learned something from this episode. I hope you understood that following your purpose is easy to learn, but it's hard to do because there's no such thing as overnight success. There's only success in what you do and success in what God wants you to do if you associate yourself with that faith, like I said. But as this recording and as it is punishment, it is still 2021. I am still recording, so hopefully if you're looking at this in 2022 or even in the future, but mainly in 2022, you've learned something from this YouTube podcast or even audio podcast, I like to say. Hopefully you enjoyed this wonderful episode. Have a blessed day, and see you next time.